Good morning. Who do we have from the PD's office today?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Teresa Palacios from the Pima County Public Defender's Office.
Morning, Ms. Palacios.
Good morning, Your Honor. Neil Poston for the state.
Morning, Mr. Poston. All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Sorry, go ahead. Is that the interpreter?
Yes, this is the Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
I don't see any Spanish speakers today. Jail, can you confirm that?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. Have a great day.
Thank you. Interpreter will now disconnect.
All right, sir, at the jail, tell me your name.
Good morning.
So you were here today on an assault charge. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is a misdemeanor offense. This is the time for your initial appearance where we're going to set conditions of release for this particular case. Regardless of what I do today, you are being held on something else there at the jail. So regardless of what we do with your conditions, you're not going to be released. Do you have a felony case that's pending, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
When's your next hearing on that case?
28th.
Right. So I'm going to release you on this case on your promise to appear. Will you promise to appear if you get out of custody?
Yes, ma'am.
So the hearing here, Muddy, it's also the 28th at 8:30. Since he's got Superior Court, can we kick that a day? Sure. It's the 29th. What day is that? Does that work at 8:30? All right. So I'm going to set your hearing in Justice Court on July 29th at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be your arraignment here on this assault charge. I know you're in custody. I'm sure the jail will keep you separated, but you are not to have any contact with the victim of this assault. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you remain in custody and are still in custody on the 29th, the jail will make sure that you appear for that hearing at Justice Court. But if you do get released before that date, it is your responsibility to appear. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're all done for today. Hi, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Margarita Guadalupe Padilla.
Lydia, you are here today on a misdemeanor assault charge. This is the time for your initial appearance for this charge. We're going to set your conditions of release. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I know you have another case going on. Is it a felony matter, ma'am?
Yes.
When is your next court date?
July 21st.
All right. Regardless of what I do here today on this case, obviously you're still going to be held on that felony matter. Today, I'm going to release you on this misdemeanor assault charge. Will you promise to show up to court on a date I give you if you're released from jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So you will be released. Your next court date here at Justice Court is going to be July 28th at 8:30 in the morning. If you are still in custody, the jail will make sure that you get transported or appear via video for that hearing here in Justice Court. Your additional condition of release, I'm sure the jail will keep the two of you separated, but you are not to have any contact with the victim of this assault. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you do get out of custody before the 28th, it is your obligation to appear at Justice Court on the 28th at 8:30. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand those consequences if you do fail to appear?
Yes, I do.
You're all done for today.
Okay.
Hey, sir, tell me your name.
Justin Flores.
Your middle name, Angel.
Yeah, it's all together. Justin Angel Flores.
You are here today on a felony warrant out of the county of San Bernardino in California. You do have the right to remain silent on this warrant. Anything you say can and will be used against you. The charges in this warrant do involve attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon. The bond amount listed on this warrant is $1 million. We're here to set conditions of release on this warrant, and I am going to impose that $1 million bond today. It is going to be a cash bond. If for any reason you post that $1 million cash bond, you're not to have any contacts with the victims, you're not allowed to possess any firearms, and you can't return to the incident location. Do you understand the conditions that I've imposed for that warrant, sir?
Yes.
We're going to set a hearing for you here in Pima County on this fugitive warrant. It's going to happen on July 22nd at 2:30 in the afternoon. I am going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. So someone here in Tucson will be out to see you from the legal defender's office or have contact with you before that hearing so they can explain that process to you. If for some reason you did post your bond, you are expected to show up in Pima County Superior Court on July 22nd at 2:30. Do you understand that if you don't show up for that hearing and you do get out of custody, that a warrant will issue for your arrest?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today, sir. Mr. Poston, on the next case, you're not asking for a no bond?
Stand by, Your Honor. Let me double check.
Looks like he does have 2 pending Pima County Superior Court cases. I haven't looked to see what those are.
This would be,
Mr. Behill.
I did not see the 2, Your Honor. Yes, no bond. Shall the state, do we need to submit a new recommendation?
No,
I
that's
can do it
fine.
right now.
No, I can change it. It's okay. I just figured I'd get that information for you before we go forward with the rest of the information I have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know what, Mr. Poston? This was a Superior Court warrant, so I don't know if we can ask for a no bond because the warrant's already been set. There's already a CR number. Sorry, that was my fault.
I wait on it, Your Honor.
I'm glad I caught that before we went any further, so I apologize. That is,
The other day, I everything judgment. Okay.
hi, sir. Tell me your name. All right. Mr. Kovac, you are here today. Let me get to your information. On a couple of different matters, you do have a warrant out of Oro Valley Municipal Court for several matters, and then you also have a warrant out of Sarita Municipal Court and out of Tucson City Court. So we do need to talk with you about all of these today. On your Oro Valley cases, you're here for theft counts, drug paraphernalia, and it looks like multiple cases going back to December of 2021. Also, yeah, they're all from 2021. There is a bond amount on that case of $2,499. I am going to impose a bond today in the amount of $2,400. That is going to be a cash or secured bond. If you do post that bond, sir, you are not to return to the incident location where those shopliftings took place. You're not allowed to return there. You're going to be seen by the Oro Valley judge on July 23rd at 10:30 in the morning so that you can get these matters taken care of. I am going to appoint an attorney for you. Give me just a moment. That attorney is going to be Richard Glenn. And I'm sure he will be out to see you before that hearing on the 23rd. If you post your bond and get released, you do have to show up at Oro Valley City Court on that date and time. If you do not post your bond, the jail will make sure that you appear via video. Do you understand the conditions of release for your Oro Valley cases, Mr. Kovac?
Yes.
And if you don't show up, do you understand they can issue a warrant for your arrest?
Yes.
We're going to talk about your Sarita case next. There's also a shoplifting in the Sarita case. They also have a warrant for you. Their warrant amount is also $2,499. It looks like that shoplifting occurred back in 2017. I am going to impose a bond on that matter. That one's going to be a $500 cash bond. That will be consecutive to the bond in your Oro Valley cases since it's two separate jurisdictions. Again, if you post your bond, don't go back to the incident location where the shoplifting occurred. That's where the victims are. We're going to appoint an attorney for you in the Sarita case. And I'll give you a court date out there as well. The attorney I'm going to appoint you is going to be Gary Grinkowicz. And your next court date for Sarita is going to be July 22nd at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And Mr. Grinkowicz should be out to see you on that matter as well before your hearing date. Do you understand your conditions in the Sarita case, Mr. Kovacs?
Yes, I do.
And same thing, they could also issue a warrant for you if you don't show up in Sarita if you get out of custody before that date. We do need to talk about your Tucson City Court. You're here for a failure to appear for criminal trespass and shoplifting. Looks like that occurred in 2024, February of 2024. I'm going to release you on that case. I know you're being held on other cases, but I am going to release you on your city case, so that one's not going to continue to hold you. I am going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. And we're going to give you a hearing date for September 26th at 9 a.m. By then, your other two matters should be resolved, and this will give you an opportunity to show up to Tucson City Court so you can get that case taken care of. Again, don't return to the incident location where the victims are. Do you understand those conditions, Mr. Kovacs?
Yes.
When you do get released, you are going to have the opportunity to get paperwork from the jail. Please make sure you get that whenever you do get released, because you will have the court date and time that I just gave you in front of you when you leave, so that you don't miss that Tucson City Court date. If you don't show up, they could issue another warrant for you. Do you understand all of that, Mr. Kovacs?
Yes.
Oh, and it looks like we have a new charge as well for you out of Tucson City Court, and that is for shoplifting. This is also the time for your arraignment on that case. You do have the right to remain silent. I am going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. You have the same court date for that case, sir, but if you fail to show up, in addition to them issuing a warrant for your arrest on that one, they could also go forward in your absence. If they go forward in your absence, they could set a trial in your absence. And if you're convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand those additional consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Kovacs. Hi, sir, tell me your name.
Steve Anvil.
Mr. Vigil, you were here on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court. That warrant is for domestic violence, aggravated harassment. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. We're going to appoint Jesse Delaney to represent you. You do have other pending Superior Court cases, 2 of them, that are going on. So you are going to be held on those until you can be seen by a Superior Court judge, regardless of what I do on your conditions of release here today.
Your Honor, what I'm seeing here is it looks like the date of incident on this one is the date of incident on this is 6/10. And based on that, the state didn't initially think this qualified for another no bond hold. What is the court's take?
I don't think it does because it's already got a CR number. So I think because we're not in the procedural posture we would be to request a no bond hearing. The bond's already been set because it was a grand jury indictment that was obtained.
Okay, so the state was on target. Good. 25,000 plus PTS.
And Jail, are you showing that hold on the Superior Court cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. So, Mr. Vihel, you heard from the state's attorney. They are asking for the $25,000. That is the bond amount on the warrant for these 2 aggravated harassment charges. You do have an attorney seated with you today. She's from the Public Defender's Office, and she'll represent you for purposes of these proceedings. I have had a chance to review information that pretrial services has prepared for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. Ms. Palacios, did you want to be heard further on conditions?
Just a moment, Your Honor, please. Thank you, Your Honor. We're pretty much in line with the state and the court. We're just asking for a slight reduction in that bond due to the fact that Mr. How do you say your last name?
Vihil.
Mr. Vihil also has an order of protection against the alleged victim. He has housing to go home to with mom, which is away from the victim. Mom has verified this housing, and mom can also assume third-party custody of him and provide transportation to future court hearings. So maybe a $15,000 bond.
So, sir, I am going to impose the $25,000 cash or secured bond on your warrant at this time. If you do post that bond, then you would be released to pretrial services. You do have to participate in any monitoring or treatment pretrial services directs. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not allowed to possess any firearms. Also, you're not allowed to commit any acts of domestic violence. You are not allowed to have any contact with the victim in this case, nor are you allowed to return to the incident location. This order applies to you, Mr. Vihil, while you remain in the Pima County Jail. You may be given access to tablets, phones, other ways to communicate. You are not allowed to have any contact with the victim, regardless of whether you are in or out of custody. Your next court date in this case is going to be July 24th at 1:30. That is an arraignment. If you are in custody, the jail will make sure that you appear for that hearing, very likely like you're doing today by video. But if you do post bond and get released on this case and get your other matters resolved, it is your responsibility to appear. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand all the conditions that I've imposed here today, Mr. Vihil?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yep.
You're all done.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, tell me your name.
Benjamin Prado.
Mr. Prado, you are here today for a DV charge out of Marana Municipal Court. It looks like you were on probation out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hang on,
There was
hang on. I'm
sorry.
just looking at some other information, so I want to make sure that you're aware. So we are actually, I think, only seeing you on something that is out of Western Pinal Justice Court. So you are on probation for a Marana case, and it looks like they have a hold on you. Jail, are you showing a hold for him from Marana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Marana is gonna keep you here regardless of what I do on your other warrant. That other warrant, as I've said, is out of Western Canal Justice Court, and that's in Maricopa. Those counts involve domestic violence, failing to comply with a court order. You do have the right to remain silent on that charge, those charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Mr. Prado, if I release you today on your Western Penal Justice case, will you promise to show up at a date and time that I give you in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and again, you're not going to be released from Pima County Jail until your Marana case is seen, but on this, you will be released. You do have to appear on August 13th at 11:30 at Western Penal Justice. Whenever you do get released from custody, get a copy of your paperwork, and that will have that date, time, also the address and location for that justice court. If you don't
Okay.
appear, they could issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, you're all done for today.
You know when my next court date for the Miranda case would be?
I don't have any information. The only thing that I know is that you're on probation. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're all
Thank
done.
you, sis. All right, thank you.
Huh?
Garcia.
Oh, sir, tell
Good
me.
morning.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Luis Mendez Garcia III.
Mr. Garcia, you were here today on some Tucson City Court matters involving a petition to revoke your probation. And it looks like also warrants involving disorderly conduct, leaving the scene of the accident, and also failing to remain at the scene of an accident. You do have the right to remain silent on all of this. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Looks like this leaving the scene is a new charge. On that, this is the time for your arraignment. So you are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf for that one. And then we're going to set a court date for you on all of these matters. I am going to impose a bond on all of these matters. That bond is going to be a $500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond and get released before the court date that I give you today, your additional conditions involve not driving without a valid license, possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You can't have any contact with the victim of the disorderly conduct, and don't go to any of the incident locations. I'm going to appoint Jeff Grinkowicz to represent you on all of these matters. As to your petition to revoke probation, it looks like on February 5th of 2025, you were adjudicated guilty of reckless driving in lieu of a DUI and were placed on unsupervised probation for a period of 12 months. They did impose written conditions and you signed those and they were provided to you. They are revoking your probation on that case because there is reasonable cause to believe the conditions of probation were violated and that you tested positive for cocaine, which was a violation of your conditions of release at the time, using or possessing an illegal substance. I am going to appoint Jeff Grinkowicz to represent you on that matter as well. I am going to deny the allegations in this petition to revoke probation at this time. And we're going to set a court date of July 25th at 1:45. That's going to be what's called a video review hearing. If you do post your bond and you get out of custody on these charges, then your next hearing is going to be August 21st at 9. Hang on a second while I ask the city court clerk something. All right, so I was able to confirm, sir, the video review hearing date for you that we're setting on the 25th at 1:45. Again, if you are in custody, that will appear You'll appear via video like you're doing today in front of a Tucson City Court judge. But if you post that $500 bond that I've imposed today, then for all of these matters, including your probation revocation matter, you'll need to appear yourself at Tucson City Court on August 21st at 9.
Okay.
When you get released, you'll get copies of all of your paperwork. So if you post that bond, make sure that you ask them for those so you have the date and time that I gave you today.
Okay.
Do you understand all of the conditions that I've put in place for you today?
The only question I have for you, ma'am, so the total amount I have to come up with today is $500?
That's the cash or secured, so you could actually post a portion of that and then put the rest up in collateral.
I understand that, but I'm kind of like dumbfounded, I guess you could say. So it's only $500 total that I have to come up with today.
You wouldn't have to come up with that total amount if you can come up with 10
No,
bucks.
yeah, no, I understand that, but as long as it totals $500.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Okay,
And
all right.
again, if you get released, Mr. Grinkowicz's phone number is going to be on your information. Please make sure that you contact him. Do you understand all of the conditions that I've put in place today?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you fail to appear for court, they could issue warrants for your arrest. On that new charge, they could also go forward in your absence with a hearing if you fail to show up, set future hearings, including a trial. And if you're convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you fail to appear?
If you don't mind, can I ask you when my first trial date is after today?
Your video review hearing, if you were to stay in custody, is July 25th. If you post that bond today and get out, your hearing is August 21st at 9. It's not a trial. It's going to be the next court date at City Court.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
Well done. Figure out whether or not you want both the dates that I put in. Or if you're just, I don't know what you want to put. So I mean, it should be the, but if you post on.
Mendoza, Diego.
Plug it in there for that. I don't know that I put that come up before. Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Hi, good morning. My name is Diego Mendoza.
Mr. Mendoza, you are here on a couple of city court matters. One involves new charges of assault, domestic violence, and disorderly conduct, also a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I am going to appoint this to represent you in this new case. It looks like you do have other matters from Tucson City Court as well. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. Looks like you do have another city DV case pending, and there's also something out of Las Vegas Justice Court. Not seeing you on those today. I'm just letting you know that that's information that the court has regarding these cases. We're here to set your conditions of release. Today, I am going to impose a bond in the amount of $500. That is a cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, you're not to commit any acts of domestic violence. And at this time, you are not allowed to have any contact with Miss Ochoa. She's listed as the victim in this case. You're not allowed to return to her residence, workplace, or have any contact with her. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Do you have to return to her house for any reason?
No, ma'am. I don't live there.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need to get any belongings from her. The answer is no. Okay. So right now, and I will tell you, sir, that normally pretrial services does try to contact the victim. In this case, they were not able to reach Miss Ochoa to get any information from her about whether or not she wanted to have contact. So for now, my order is that you not have any contact with her. So that's the reason that order is in place. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is also the time for your arraignment on these new charges. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. Your next court date is going to be July 30th at 1:30. That's going to be in front of Judge Millian. If you are in custody, the jail will have you appear via video like you're doing today. But if you post that $500 bond, then you'll be released, and then you'll need to appear at Tucson City Court on that date and time. If you fail to appear on July 30th at 1:30 in front of Judge Millian, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and set future hearings, including a trial. If you get convicted at a trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand that you're facing all of those consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're all done for today.
Thank you. Miss Garrett. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Tell me your name.
Garrett, Miss.
Mr. Mintz, you are here today on a charge of disorderly conduct. It is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're here to set your conditions of release on this case. If I release you today, sir, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Your additional condition is going to involve not having any contact with your father, who's the victim in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you living with him?
So that can go, so there's no issue there.
Do you need to return to that house to get any of your personal belongings?
For me, just.
Well, you're not going to be allowed to go there. So the other option that you have is I can check a box on your conditions of release that allows you to return to the house one time accompanied by law enforcement so that you can collect your belongings. Would you like me to put that on your conditions?
She's getting so thank you though. Appreciate
I
that.
included, right. So I am going to release you on your promise to appear today. Again, no contact with your father anywhere near where he is living or working. If your girlfriend goes to collect your belongings, she should not be talking to him about this case or saying anything from you. Just get your stuff and leave, okay? Your next hearing date in this case is going to be September 2nd at 9. That's going to be in front of Judge Mayhew at Tucson City Court. When you get released today, you will get a copy of your conditions. It'll have that date and time on it, also the location for Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear at that date and time, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward in your absence with that hearing and set future hearings, including a trial in your absence. If you get convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all those consequences if you fail to appear for your hearing? You're all done for today.
Bill?
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Carl Schultz.
Mr. Schultz, you're here today for an assault charge. It is a domestic violence related offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're here to talk about your conditions of release on this matter. I have had a chance to review some information provided by pretrial services. It tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. They were able to contact the victim in this case, and she is willing to have contact with you, so you will be allowed to continue to have contact with her. But if I release you, you're not allowed to commit any acts of domestic violence. Do you understand those conditions if you get released?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if I release you, will you promise to appear for a court date that I give you in the future?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Your next court date is going to be August 19th at 1:30. That's going to be in front of Judge Millian at Tucson City Court. You do need to appear at that date and time for that hearing. If you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and set future hearings, including a trial. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes, I do.
When you get released later today, you will get a copy of your paperwork. It'll be your conditions of release, and it has that court date and time that I gave you today, along with an address for Tucson City Court. You're all done for today.
Thank you. Hey,
Hi, tell me your name.
Michael Staley.
Mr. Staley, you are here on multiple warrants out of Tucson City Court involving criminal trespass and drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're here to set your conditions of release on all of these matters, and there are many of them. I am going to impose a bond today, sir, of $500. That is going to be a cash or secured bond. I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. If you do post that bond, you're not allowed to return to any of the incident locations where the criminal trespasses occurred. Do you understand those conditions that I've imposed today?
Yeah.
Your next
Yeah.
court date is going to be July 24th at 1:45, and that's going to be in front of Judge Blue at Tucson City Court. If you are still in custody and don't post your bond, then you'll be seen via video like you're doing here today in front of Judge Blue, and someone from the city public defender's office should be out to see you or make an appointment with you on video as well. If for some reason you do post your bond, you do have to appear at Tucson City Court on that same date and time, July 24th at 1:45. If you don't show up, they could issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today, Mr. Staley.
Training.
Hi, sir, tell me your name.
Robert Training.
Mr. Trainee, you are here today on charges of assault and disorderly conduct. Both are domestic violence offenses. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're here to set your conditions of release on this case. If I do release you, will you promise to appear at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes, of course.
The other conditions that are going to be imposed today is that you and Miss Monk are not allowed to have any contact with each other going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Understandable.
And you'll agree to abide by that if I release you?
Of course.
All right. I'm going to release you today on your promise to appear. Your conditions include not committing any acts of domestic violence and no contact of any kind with Miss Monk. Don't go anywhere near where she is living or working. Do you need to return to that address to collect any of your belongings?
That's where I live, so yes.
All right. Who lives at that address, you or her?
I do.
All right. So what I will say for you is that you're not allowed to go to wherever it is that she ends up living or working. So I'm not going to restrict you from, hang on, I'm not going to restrict you from returning to the incident location. Okay?
She gets to my house before I do. What am I supposed to do?
So I'm going to see her a little bit later. So she won't be allowed to return to the incident location without law enforcement to collect her belongings if you're the person that lives there. Now, if I see her and she tells me that it's her place, then we're going to have a different conversation. But
Yeah.
given
Okay.
the information that you provided me today, again, I'm not going to restrict you from being there, but she will be allowed to return to get her belongings with law enforcement. But the two of you are not to communicate at all. Do you understand all of that?
Very understandable.
All right. Your next court date is going to be August 19th at 1:30 at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Million. You do have to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. This is also the time for your arraignment. I am going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. I am going to also let you know that if you don't show up for that hearing on August 19th, they could go forward with that hearing in your absence. If you don't show for that hearing and they set future hearings that could include a trial and you get convicted at that trial, hang on. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you're also going to give up your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all the consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yeah. I was actually gonna say I'm gonna be out of town for that week of August 19th. Is there any way we could push it for another week or maybe a little bit later? Because I won't be back until August, I think it's 27th.
So you can contact, you're going to be released today. There's a phone number for Tucson City Court. You can contact them and let them know that you need to change that court date.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't do that today. It's August 19th at 1:30, but you can contact Tucson City Court and they'll be able to help you with that.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, you're all done.
You think I need to sign?
Hi, tell me your name.
Peter Damian Keith.
Mr. Keith, you are here on charges of selling a narcotic drug. So that's a possession for sale charge. There are 3 counts. Those are class 2 felonies. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney. We're going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you in this case. It looks like you have a matter pending out of Pinal County Superior Court. We're here to talk about your conditions of release, Mr. Keith, and I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services, which tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. It looks like the state is going to ask that you be held without bond at this time, and we'll schedule a hearing based on the fact that you do have that felony case pending in Pinal County, and we're on release when these offenses occurred. Mr. Poston, is that correct?
It is, Your Honor.
So, sir, at this time, I have no choice when the state asks for that no bond hold to hold you without bond on this matter at this time and set a hearing for you. That hearing will be July 22nd at 2:30. Someone from the legal defender's office should be in contact with you before that date. That'll be a hearing to determine whether or not you will continue to be held without bond or if a bond is going to be set. Do you understand those conditions at this time?
Yeah, I do.
And then we're also going to set a preliminary hearing date for you. That's going to be on July 28th at 1:30 for these charges. That hearing may or may not take place, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. If you do end up out of custody, it will be important for you to stay in contact with your attorney so you don't miss your court dates. Do you understand that, Mr. Keith?
Yes, I do.
Well done for today.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure. Please.
Hi, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Jasmine Monk.
Ms. Monk, you were here today on a charge of criminal damage and disorderly conduct. They are domestic violence offenses. And you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is the time for your initial appearance where we set conditions of release. I have had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services on this case. Tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. If I release you on this case, Ms. Monk, will you promise to appear at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes.
You're also not going to be allowed to have any contact with Mr. Tranny. You're not going to be allowed to return to the incident location, which I understand is his residence. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you need to return there to collect any of your belongings?
Yes.
All right. So I am going to release you on your promise to appear today, Miss Monk. Your conditions of release are that you not commit any acts of domestic violence. You can't have any contact with Mr. Tranny. Don't go anywhere near where he's living or working or to the incident location. However, I have checked a box on your form that allows you return to that location one time to collect your belongings with law enforcement. So when you get
Okay.
released today, you're going to get a copy of your conditions. You need to take that to a nearby substation, police department, or call 911 and let them know that you need to return to this address to collect your belongings. Please don't go sit outside the address and wait for law enforcement. Go to a nearby convenience store or something like that and meet them, and they will go with you to the residence so that you can collect your things. I saw Mr. Tranny earlier, and he's aware that that's going to be the court's order as well, but the two of you should not be having any contact. Do you understand all those conditions?
Yes.
Your next court date is going to be August 19th at 1:30. That's going to be in front of Judge Millian at Tucson City Court. That date and time and also the city court address will be on the same conditions of release form I just talked with you about. This is also the time for your arraignment. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. If you fail to appear for that hearing on August 19th, the court could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward in your absence with that hearing and set future hearings, including a trial. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes.
You're all done for today, Ms. Holmes. You're all done, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, tell me your name.
Veronica Tejas.
Okay, as you were here on a couple different matters today, we have a assault charge out of Pima County Justice Court that we're going to talk about, and then it looks like you also have a warrant out of New Mexico that we're going to discuss as well. On that misdemeanor assault, it is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these matters. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had a chance to review information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for me telling me a little bit about this offense as well as a little bit about you. Looks like the victim in this case is your boyfriend, Mr. Prado. He is indicating that he is not sure if he's going to remain at the residence, but he's okay having contact with you. We're going to talk about your probation violation warrant in a minute, but if you get released on this case, you are not going to be allowed to commit any acts of domestic violence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So on this case, ma'am, I am going to impose a bond of $250 cash. The probation violation warrant out of Deming does indicate that it is a probation violation, and they are asking that you be held without bond. So on that matter, I am going to hold you without bond, which means I'm going to set a bond in this case as well, so you can get this matter taken care of sooner rather than later. I'm going to appoint Caitlin Waters to represent you on this justice court matter, and she should be out to see you, or we'll see you for your hearing tomorrow, July 18th at 1 o'clock. The jail will make sure that you appear via video for that hearing. Do you understand those conditions on that case, ma'am?
Yeah.
Right. And then again, the warrant out of New Mexico does have a no bond hold. So I do have to do that at this time. So you're going to be held without bond, and we're going to set a hearing for you on July 22nd at 2:30 in Superior Court. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. So you'll have an attorney from that office that will talk with you about what to expect at that hearing. At that hearing, you should have more information about what's going on with that warrant and the extradition for that. Any questions that you have for me today? All right, you're all done, Ms. Tejas. Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Gary Edward Cox.
Mr. Cox, you're here on a few different matters today. The first one that we're going to talk about is felony charges involving possession of dangerous drugs and drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. It does look like you have a couple of or warrants out of justice court involving false reporting and shoplifting. Those were from back in 2023. I reviewed some information provided by pretrial services. Tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of the offense. Because of the nature of these offenses, Mr. Cox, you may be eligible to participate in what we call the STEPS program. It is a pre-indictment diversion program where if you participate in substance abuse treatment and successfully graduate from that program, then the state would not go forward with these felony charges against you. Is that something that you're interested in seeing if you're eligible for?
Yes, it is.
All right. Mr. Poston, I do see that the state is requesting a $2,500 bond. Given the age of the warrant for the justice court cases, I am inclined to release him to pretrial. Did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Did you need to be heard, Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Cox, I'm going to release you today to pretrial services on this felony case. You do have to stay in contact with them. I'm going to give you a court date next week, July 24th at 9 a.m. That's going to take place in Pima County Superior Court. You have to show up to that court date to see if you're eligible to participate in the STEPS program. If you are, right there in the courtroom, you'll meet with your attorney, you'll review the contract. Pretrial services will be present, and there will also be substance abuse treatment providers from our community there in the courtroom to get you connected to services. Do you have a place to live between now and then?
Yes, I do.
All right. If you don't show up at that court date, then the state will just go forward with these charges. All right. So it's really important that you show up. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. Are we willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing, Ms. Palacios?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Cox, the state would normally have 20 days to indict you on these felony charges. But since we're going to wait and see if you're eligible to participate in STEPS and give you that time, we're going to extend that date out to September 2nd at 1:30. That's going to be your preliminary hearing date. If for some reason you don't show up for that hearing next week, then the state could go forward with those charges, then that would be your next court date. If you fail to appear for that court date, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the conditions of release that I've imposed for you today?
Yes, I do.
If you do post, as I've indicated, you're going to be released to pretrial. You do have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs as part of your conditions, and you can't have any firearms. Understand all of that?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand the consequences that a warrant can be issued for your arrest if you don't show up to court?
Yes, I do.
You're all done for today, Mr. Cox.
Thank you.
Oh, hang on, Mr. Cox, sorry. We need to talk about your justice court case. Sorry. Your justice court cases, I am going to release you on. And on those, your next court date is going to be July 28th. So since you're going to be out of custody, you're going to have to go to justice court so that you can get those matters taken care of. It'll be the same court date for both days. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Hang on a second. Did you have something for Cox? Okay. All right. You're all done now.
Your Honor, what time is that hearing on the 28th?
8:30.
Thank you.
And when you get released, Mr. Cox, you're going to get paperwork that'll have the information for your 2 justice court cases as well. It'll have the case number and the date and time that you need to appear at justice court. All right. Don't miss that court date so they don't keep issuing warrants for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're all done. Can we change it to 8/4 so it's the next Mondays? Quick petition hearing. What date did I give him? Oh, the 21st. Right. That's what he said.
Yes, please.
He's going to be released and he's not going to get notice of that. Well, I haven't given this to the jail yet. Okay, because I went back and forth with the I asked them for okay. Today. Do you want me to do the 4th? So yes, we can change it to the 4th. I'm going to skip this to the jail, so you'll have the correct paperwork with that date. Give me just a minute, sir. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows. This isn't so we set it for the 4th, so we set the amended court date. Perfect. Thank you. Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Okay, go ahead.
Joaquin Cruz, she's gonna lose her house.
Mr. Cruz, you were here today on charges of aggravated assault and possession of drug paraphernalia and kidnapping. The aggravated assault and kidnapping charges are domestic violence related. These are felony offenses. You do have the right to remain silent to anything against you. You do have the right to an attorney. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you today, and you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That report tells me a little bit about you as well as the circumstances of the offense. It does tell me that you have a Pima County Superior Court case pending in CR 2025-0315. This is the time to set your conditions of release. I've reviewed information provided by the state and they are asking for a $50,000 cash or secured bond. The court is inclined. Mr. Cruz, you're going to want to pay attention to everything I'm saying. And then if you need to talk to your attorney, you'll get that chance to do that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Poston, I am inclined to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond. Did you need to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Palacios.
One moment, Your Honor, please.
My wife's gonna use.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to highlight the fact that Mr. Cruz is the sole provider for his family. He knows he's not allowed to have contact with the victim. He indicated he does have housing to go to that's away from the victim. And his new criminal activity is a 5. His failure to appear is a 4. It's not great. It's kind of in the middle run. So we're similar to where you're at, Your Honor, and we're asking for the $25,000 bond.
Mr. Cruz, I am going to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond today. If you post that bond, you'd be released to pretrial services. You're going to have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not allowed to have any firearms. You're not to have any contact with the victim in this case or return to the incident location. Do you understand all of those conditions of release should you post that bond?
Yes, ma'am.
While you remain in custody, not having any contact with the victim is part of what you have to abide by. You may be given access to phones, tablets, emails, things while you remain in custody, but that no contact order applies to you while you're in the Pima County Jail. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like you have a pending trial date, August 12th, in Pima County Superior Court on that other matter that I mentioned. In this case, your next court date is going to be July 28th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you are expected to show up at all future hearings, and if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
You're all done for today. Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Pedro Diaz.
Mr. Diaz, you were here today on felony charges of possession of narcotics and possession of drug paraphernalia. We also have several city court matters that we need to talk to you about. It looks like several warrants for your arrest in Tucson city court cases. We're going to talk about the felony cases first. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you today for these proceedings. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. In reviewing information provided by pretrial services, they do prepare a report for the court based on the nature of your offenses here today, the drug offenses. You may be eligible to participate in a pre-indictment diversion program. It's called STEPS. If you agree to participate in substance abuse treatment and successfully complete that program, then the state would not go forward with these felony charges. Is that something that you're interested in doing today?
Yes.
With that, I do intend to release him to pretrial services on this matter. Mr. Poston, did you need to be heard further?
Your Honor.
Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Diaz, I am going to release you to pretrial services for this case. Your next hearing is going to be next week, July 24th at 9 o'clock in Pima County Superior Court. You have to show up on that date and time to see if you're eligible for this STEPS program. If you don't show up, the state's going to go forward with these felony charges. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your conditions of release while released to pretrial is that you have to stay in contact with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You're willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing, Ms. Palacios?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what I just asked your attorney, Mr. Diaz, is normally the state would have 20 days to indict you on these charges, but because we're giving you an opportunity to participate in that pre-indictment diversion program, we're going to extend that time out to 45 days. So your next hearing on this case is going to be September 2nd at 1:30. Again, you have that hearing next week you have to show up to. But the next one will be September 2nd at 1:30, and that preliminary hearing may or may not go forward. A lot of that will depend on what happens with your STEPS case. But if you fail to appear for future court dates, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand those consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
All right, now we need to talk about your Tucson City Court matters. Looks like you have multiple warrants involving criminal trespassing, being in the parks after hours, and then theft and shoplifting. Most of these are from 2024. Looks like there is a new criminal trespass charge on that city case. This is also the time for your arraignment on that new charge. So I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to release you on these charges as well, Mr. Diaz. If you get connected with services through that STEPS program, you should let them know about your city court matters as well. But you do have to appear for these warrants. They're not going to go away. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to release you on your promise to appear on these charges. Are you going to go to court if I give you a new date this time?
Yeah.
August 18th at 9 a.m. is when you do have to appear at Tucson City Court, and that will be for all of these cases. Show up and get them taken care of. You're not allowed to return to the incident location where the criminal trespasses occurred, and don't go back to the parks where you're not supposed to be. There are victims in that criminal trespass and also the shoplifting cases. Don't go back there as well. Do you understand all those conditions that I've imposed today on your city court matter?
Yes.
If you fail to show up for that hearing on August 18th, they're going to issue another warrant for your arrest. And if you fail to appear on that new case for that date, they could set future hearings in your absence that include a trial. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you fail to show up for your Tucson City Court cases?
Yeah.
You're all done for today. Hi, tell me your name.
Nina Fonseca.
Ms. Fonseca, we have several matters that we're here to talk about today. There is a Superior Court warrant for your arrest. You have new felony charges, and then you have a Justice Court case and warrants out of Tucson City Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on this felony matter. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. We are going to talk about those new charges first. It is taking the identity of another. It is a class 4 felony. I've had a chance to review information provided by pretrial services and also the state's recommendation as to your conditions of release. It looks like they're asking for a bond in the amount of $5,000 on the new case and then the $2,500 bond in the other matter. They would have to be consecutive bonds for a total of $7,500 if that's what I imposed because of where we are in the proceedings. I am inclined to impose a bond of $2,500 on each matter. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
No, Judge.
All right, so Ms. Fonseca, on this new charge involving taking identity of the other, I'm going to impose a bond of $2,500. That is cash or secured. If you do post that bond, then you'll be released to pretrial services. You have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms. You're also not allowed to have any contact with the victim in this case. Your next hearing in that matter is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be July 28th at 1:30. If you remain in custody, the jail will transport you for your next hearings, but if you do get released, you need to make sure that you stay in contact with your attorney because if you don't show up, they could issue a warrant for you. Do you understand all the consequences that I've just talked with you about in that matter?
Yes.
The next matter is the one where there is a Superior Court warrant out for your arrest for prohibited possessor, being a prohibited possessor, having a gun. The bond amount on that warrant is $2,500. I am going to impose that $2,500 cash or secured bond. Same conditions of release we previously discussed. Release to pretrial if you post the bond. participate in monitoring or treatment, no alcohol or drugs, and you can't have any guns. Your next court date in that matter is going to be July 24th at 1:30, and that is an arraignment in that case. Again, these bonds are consecutive because of where we are in the proceeding. So the total bond amount on your felony cases today is $5,000. Do you understand the consequences if you don't show up for your hearings?
Yes.
We're going to talk about your Pima County Justice Court matter next. That is a shoplifting case. I'm going to release you on that case. And your next hearing is going to be July 28th at 8:30 in the morning. If you are still in custody, the jail will make sure that you appear for that hearing, either via video or get you to justice court. But if you get released from court by then, you do have to appear at that date and time. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do not return to where that shoplifting occurred. The victims are there and you can't go back there. Do you understand those conditions in your justice court matter, ma'am?
Yes.
And you also know that if you don't show up, they're going to issue another warrant for you.
Yes.
We need to talk about your city court case now. This is a contributing to the delinquency of a minor matter out of Tucson City Court. I am going to release you on this matter as well, and I'm going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. We are going to set what's called a non-transport review hearing for you, September 26th at 9 a.m. Someone from the City Public Defender's Office should be out to talk with you. The idea setting that court date out a little bit, ma'am, is that it'll give you a chance to get your felony cases taken care of or under control, but this is not something that's going to go away. So if you get released between now and the September 26th date, you do have to appear at that date and time. If you don't, they could issue another warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're all done for today.
Thank you.
Hi, tell me your name.
Ishkagola.
Sir, you were here today on a charges of disorderly conduct with a weapon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawfully discharging a firearm in city limits. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for me that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation as to conditions of release. They're asking for an $80,000 cash or secured bond, Mr. Post.
Your Honor, we're looking at 6 counts of DFC with a weapon and 2 counts of discharging a firearm. This could have ended. There's just no reason for this wanton gunplay in the middle of a community. This person has demonstrated that they are a danger to the community. And given the severe consequences of charges such as this, they also considers this individual to be a flight risk. $80,000.
Ms. Palacios, the court is at a $25,000 cash or secured bond. I recognize that the discharging a firearm and disorderly conduct multiple counts are class 6 felonies, but the ag assault with a deadly weapon is a class 3. I do note that he does not appear to have any prior criminal history. Did you want to be heard further?
You said you're recommending the $25,000?
That's what the court is intending to impose.
Then we'll submit, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Golov, we're going to impose a $25,000 cash or secured bond today for this case. If you do post that bond, then you'll be released to the custody of pretrial services. That means you have to stay in contact with that agency and participate in any monitoring or treatment they may require of you. You are not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol, obviously no illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. That means if you have any other firearms in your possession, you must surrender those to law enforcement. Your attorney can help you with that if you get released. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victims, and you can't return to the incident location. Do you understand all of those conditions that I've just imposed? Your next court date is going to be July 28th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're expected to show up at all future hearings. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. If you do post bond and get released, it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney so you don't miss your court dates. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear, sir?
Yeah.
You're all done for today. Hi, tell me your name.
Good.
Mr. Goodrick, you were here on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, misconduct involving weapons, and disorderly conduct. These are felony charges. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They are asking for a $75,000 bond. I do intend to impose a bond, probably not that high. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Palacios?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to highlight the fact that Mr. Godric has no priors, no felony history. He has been here in Tucson for the past 12 years. He has housing. He is employed. This is all verified by Mom. Mom also indicated that she can provide third-party custody and transportation to future hearings. He only scored a 2 for both the new criminal activity and the failure to appear. So $25,000 we're thinking is more appropriate. Thank you, Your Honor.
I am going to impose a bond today. That bond is going to be a $25,000 cash or secured bond. If you do post that bond, Mr. Goodrick, then you're going to be released to pretrial services. Means you have to stay in contact with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you may not have any firearms. If you have any other guns other than the ones that the police took in this case, you do have to surrender them to law enforcement while this case is going on. Your attorney can assist you with how to do that. You're also not allowed to have any contact with the victims or return to the incident location. Do you understand all of those conditions?
One question, the incident location was my apartment complex. So am I allowed to return there? Because I mean, I live there.
You can go back to live there, but you shouldn't be having any contact with the victims there. So you can return. So I think that was more outside your apartment complex. So go to and from your apartment. Don't be lingering, hanging out, doing other things. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I will remove the incident location piece for now, just so that there is no confusion. So you can continue to reside at that apartment complex. But again, absolutely no contact with the victims. If you see them anywhere, you are to turn around and go the other way. If there's somewhere you want to be and they're there, you have to leave. That's all on you. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
Your next court hearing is going to be that's going to be August 6th. No, July 28th at 1:30. And that's going to be a preliminary hearing date. That date may or may not occur, but you're expected to show up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you remain in custody, the jail will get you to that next hearing. If you get bonded out, then you need to stay in contact with your attorney so you don't miss court. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those conditions that I imposed today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're all done. Morning, Ms. Hendon.
Morning.
Tell me your full name and date of birth.
Brianna Huntington, January 29th, 1995.
This is the time for your initial appearance on new felony charges. Those charges are promoting prison contraband, possessing a dangerous drug, and also aggravated domestic violence, 3 counts. These are all felony offenses. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had the opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. Tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. Obviously, Ms. Hendon, I'm familiar with your history based on our contact in drug court as well. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by the state's attorney with respect to your conditions of release. They are asking for a $25,000 cash or secured bond in this case. That is my inclination at this time. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
No.
Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor, we'll come back.
Ms. Hendon, you're going to be held on this matter on a $25,000 cash or secured bond today. If you do post that bond, then you'd be released to pretrial services. You have to stay in contact with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. Don't commit any acts of domestic violence. You can't have any alcohol, no illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms. You're not allowed to have any contact with the 3 victims in this case, and you can't return to the incident location. That no contact order, Ms. Hendon, applies to you while you remain in custody at the jail. So you are going to be given access to tablets, phones, other ways to communicate. You may not communicate with those victims. Do you understand all those conditions of release that I've imposed today? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Your next court date is going to be July 28th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you must show up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand those consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
You're all done for today, Ms. Hendon. Hi, tell me your name.
Sorry, Your Honor. Say your name.
Aiden Huggins.
Mr. Huggins, you were here on a couple different matters today. The first is a charge of dangerous drug possession. That's a felony case. And we're going to talk about a Tucson City Court case as well. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on this felony case. We're going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. We're here to talk about your conditions of release, as I've said. Based on the nature of the offense, the fact that this is a drug possession charge, you may be eligible to participate in the STEPS program. That is a pre-indictment diversion program that if you agree to participate in substance abuse treatment and qualify for that program, the state would not go forward with the felony charge if you successfully complete that program. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right. With that, I do intend to release him to pretrial services. Does either party need to be heard further on conditions?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Huggins, I'm going to release you to pretrial services on this felony case today. That means you have to stay in contact with that agency. Do you understand that?
All
You have you have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms.
right.
Your next hearing is going to be next week, July 24th at 9 o'clock. That's going to be at Pima County Superior Court. You have to go to that hearing to see if you're eligible for this pre-indictment diversion program. If you don't show up, the state's going to go forward with this felony charge. Do you understand that?
Okay. So I go see them before the court date.
You're going to go see on July 24th at 9, you're going to go to Pima County Superior Court. They're going to have monitors. You're going to find your name on that monitor and figure out what courtroom you need to be in. Don't be late. Be there at 9 o'clock. When you get to that courtroom, you're going to meet with your attorney. Pretrial services will be there, and you will have already talked with them because when you get released today, you're going to stay in contact with them. And then there's going to be service providers from the community that help people with substance abuse that will also be in the courtroom so you can get connected to services. All that will happen on that day, but you have to show up. It's an important date, all right?
All right.
The next court date after that, are we willing to waive time, Ms. Palacios?
Yes, Your Honor.
The next court date after that is going to be September 2nd at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be your preliminary hearing. If you're not eligible to participate in that diversion program or you don't show up, that's going to be the next court date. And if you fail to appear for that court date, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
All right.
Your next case is a Tucson City Court case. It is a theft charge. You do have the right to remain silent on that one as well. This is the time for your arraignment on that case. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for you on that charge. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to release you on that matter. You're not allowed to return to the incident location. The victims are there. Don't have any contact with them. Your next court date in Tucson City Court is going to be August 18th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's going to be in front of Judge Cranshaw. When you get released today, you're going to get a copy of a piece of paper that has your conditions of release that'll have that court date and time and the address for Tucson City Court. Make sure you get it. If you don't show up for your court date in City Court, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and conduct future hearings in your absence, including a trial. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you're going to lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you don't show up for your city court case?
All right. And when is the city court case?
August 18th.
August 18th.
And when you get released, you don't have to memorize it. The attorney sitting next to you is writing down those dates. She'll give you a card, but you're also going to get court paperwork when you get released today that'll have your dates, okay?
All right.
All right, you're all done.
All right. Thank you very much.
Jason Johnson.
Middle name Steve.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, you were here today on a felony charge involving unlawful flight from law enforcement. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. We're going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you, and you do have an attorney seated with you for purposes of the proceedings here today. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. I have noted that you do have a DOC hold at this time. So regardless of what I do on these charges, you're going to be held until that DOC matter can be taken care of. Do you understand that, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
With that, I am inclined to impose a bond today of $2,500. The state was asking for a $7,500 bond. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor.
So on this matter, sir, you're going to be held on a $2,500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, then you would be released to pretrial services. Again, you're not going anywhere until that DOC matter gets resolved. You do have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You can't have any firearms. Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes.
Your next hearing in this case is going to be July 28th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you are expected to show up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
And if you remain in custody, the jail will make sure you get to that next hearing. You're all done for today, Mr. Johnson. Hi, ma'am. Tell me your name.
Michaela Teresa Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you were here on a few different matters today. The first that we're going to talk about are felony charges involving armed robbery. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. We're going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you, and you do have counsel seated with you today for purposes of this hearing. We're here to set your conditions of release. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for me that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation as to your conditions of release. They're asking for a $75,000 bond. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Palacios.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wanted to highlight the fact that there are some discrepancies about the dangerous instrument used in this incident, and it's unclear if any dangerous instrument was found on Ms. Johnson's person. I also wanted to highlight that she is a Tucson resident, and it sounds like she has potential housing in cells. Both of that was verified by her partner, and her partner also agreed to take third-party custody and provide transportation to future court dates. She has 2 priors, but both the priors are nonviolent. For these reasons, we're asking for bond, something lower than what the state is recommending, maybe $45,000. One moment. That's it for the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Palacios, I'm actually going to go lower than that given the circumstances and what is listed here from the incident. I'm going to impose a $15,000 cash or secured bond today. Ms. Johnson, if you post that bond, then you're going to be released to pretrial services. You do have to participate in any monitoring or treatment that they request of you. You're going to not be allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms or weapons while this case is going on. Do you understand those conditions, ma'am?
Yes, I mean, I have a question.
Hang on. I'm going to finish with a couple of things, and then you should probably talk to your attorney before you ask that question. You are also not going to be allowed to return to the Home Depot where this occurred, and you can't have any contact with the victim in this case. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
All right. If you need to ask your attorney something, do that before I give you your court date on that matter.
Keep going, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Your next hearing in this case, Ms. Johnson, is going to be July 28th at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you are expected to show up at all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
All right. We do need to talk about your warrants in Tucson City Court as well. Looks like those are for drug paraphernalia and then failing to appear. These go back to February of this year. also a criminal trespass from December of 2024, and you failed to appear in January. And then there's a resisting arrest, criminal trespass, and drug paraphernalia that dates back to 2023. If I release you on these cases, Ms. Johnson, and give you a court date, I know you still have your felony case that you have to take care of. Will you go to city court? These aren't going to go away. You have to go get this stuff taken care of. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you?
Yes.
I'm going to release you on these charges. I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. So someone should be in contact with you. We're going to give you a court date for all of your Tucson city court cases for September 26th at 9 a.m. That's going to be what's called a non-transport review hearing. If you're still in custody on your felony cases, then your attorney will let you know how you're going to proceed. We're setting it out far enough that hopefully you'll get your felony matter somewhat under control, if not resolved, and then you can focus on these city court cases, and you'll have an attorney from the public defender's office that can assist with that. You are not allowed to return if you do get released on this case to any of the incident locations. That's where the victims are, and you cannot go back there. Do you understand those conditions, Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Do you understand that they can issue more warrants for you if you don't show up for your court dates in city court?
Yes.
You're all done for today. Yeah, sorry. Hi, tell me your name.
This is Michael Mejia.
Mr. Mejia, you were here today on multiple matters. The first is a felony case involving narcotic drug possession and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. We're going to appoint an attorney, the legal defender's office, to represent you today. You do have counsel seated with you from the public defender's office for purposes of these proceedings. We're here to talk about your conditions of release. In addition to this felony case, you also have a warrant out of justice court and warrants out of Tucson City Court that we need to talk about. Based on the nature of these charges, the personal possession cases, you may be eligible, Mr. Mejia, to participate in a pre-indictment diversion program, where if you agree to do substance abuse treatment and you successfully complete the program, then the state would not go forward with felony charges. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yes.
We're going to set a hearing for you in Pima County Superior Court next week, July 24th at 9 a.m. That is the steps hearing. That'll be the date and time for you to appear to see if you are eligible to participate in that program. You do need to appear if you're going to be eligible. I've had the opportunity to review information provided by the state as well as to your conditions of release. They are asking for a $3,500 cash or secured bond. I am inclined to impose a bond of $2,500 on this matter, given Mr. Mejia's failures to appear multiple times in other jurisdictions and other courts. I would like to make sure he gets to that steps hearing so he can actually get connected to services and doesn't fail to appear for that. So that's where the court's at. Mr. Poston, do you want to be heard further?
Here.
Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor, we'll submit.
So, Mr. Mejia, I'm going to impose a $2,500 cash or secured bond on this case. If you post that bond, then you're going to be released to pretrial services. You have to participate in any monitoring or treatment that they direct. You can't have any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. Those are the orders of the court if you post bond and get released. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
If you are still in custody, the jail will transport you to the courtroom where those steps hearings are going to take place next week. If you bond out, then again, you need to make sure you show up for that hearing.
260.
Your next hearing after that is going to be July 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing on this case. You do have to appear. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. That hearing may or may not go forward, so you do need to make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
CI.
Mr. Mejia, all I need is a yes or no. Do you understand? We still have to talk about your misdemeanor cases, so we need to get this done. Do you understand? Ms. Palacios, I do need you to unmute.
Yes, I
Mr. Mejia, do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
We need to talk about your justice court case. You're here for a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for a disorderly conduct charge. I'm going to release you on that one, so it's not holding you. So if you get to that steps hearing next week, they may look at modifying your conditions. So your next hearing on the justice court case is going to be July 28th at 8:30 in the morning. Can we bump that date? Oh no, it's the 24th. We're good. Okay, July 28th at 8:30.
So I'm staying here is what you're saying.
You're going to be staying there until the 24th when you have your hearing for steps. When you go to that hearing, if you're eligible to participate in that program and you sign up for that program, the judge will review your conditions of release at that time. Okay? And I'm not holding you on your misdemeanor cases today. You're going to get released. So if you're eligible to participate in the STEPS program and you agree to sign up for that program, the judge will talk with you about your conditions on that day. And you do have an attorney from the legal defender's office that will also be with you. All right? We're talking about your city court cases next. So those, I'm going to release you on those as well. These things don't go away, Mr. Mejia. You have to show up. It looks like you have new charges in Tucson City Court for theft, drug paraphernalia, and criminal trespass. So this is the time for your arraignment on those charges. We're going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to release you on those. We are going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. You also have warrants for drug paraphernalia and theft and shoplifting. So it looks like there are 4 matters in Tucson City Court that you now have. We're going to set what's called a non-transport review hearing for you on September 26th at 9 a.m. The City Public Defender's Office, as I've said, has been appointed in that case. You're not going to be held on that one. So if you can get your felony matters and take care of that Justice City Court matter, September 26th can be resolved. You can talk with an attorney from the City Public Defender's Office. If you fail to appear for that hearing on September 26th, though, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yep.
All right. If you also, for your new charges on the city court case, if you fail to appear, I need to tell you that they could go forward in your absence. They could also set a trial in your absence. And if you get convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, they'll issue, you also will lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand those additional consequences for those new city charges?
Yep.
You're all done.
stand up.
Hi, tell me your name.
Jonathan.
What are your full names?
Jonathan Daniel Silva.
John Doe is continued, Your Honor.
Okay, that's why I was confused. All right, give me just a second.
He recused.
Okay. All right, Mr. Silva, you are here today on a warrant out of New Mexico involving kidnapping, bribery, aggravated battery, conspiracy to commit bribery, false imprisonment, and conspiracy to commit aggravated battery using a deadly weapon. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
that should say 100,000, not 1 million, excuse me.
All right. I have had a chance to review the warrant on this case. There is not a bond amount listed for these charges. I am going to impose a bond in the amount of $250,000. That is going to be a cash or secured bond, sir. We're also going to set a hearing on this fugitive matter here in Pima County Superior Court. I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. So someone from that office will be in contact with you. Your next hearing for that fugitive warrant here is going to be July 22nd at 2:30. If you post the $250,000 cash or secured bond I've put in place today, you still have to appear for that hearing on July 22nd at 2:30. If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure that you get transported for that hearing. Do you understand your conditions today, what you're being held on?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're all done for today. Yes. Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Dustin Levi Williams.
Mr. Williams, you are here today on felony charges involving organized retail theft and intent to facilitate shoplifting. Those are the felony charges, and also a criminal trespass which is a misdemeanor. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. We are going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided to me by pretrial services. That report tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation as to your conditions of release. They are asking for a $1,500 bond today and then release to pretrial services if you post that bond. That is the court's inclination. Do you want to be heard further, Mr. Poston?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Palacios?
No, Your Honor, we'll submit.
So, Mr. Williams, we are going to impose a bond today of $1,500. That is going to be a cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, then you're going to be released to pretrial services. If you get released, you have to stay in contact with that agency, participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You are also not allowed to return to the incident location or have any contact with the victims that are at that location. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Yes.
Your next hearing date is going to be a preliminary hearing on July 28th at 1:30. That hearing may or may not occur, but you are expected to show up at all future hearings, and if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you stay in custody, the jail will make sure to transport you for that hearing, but if you get released, it's important to stay in contact with your attorney so you don't miss any future court dates. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yeah.
You're all done for today, sir. All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you so much for your help this morning. Have a good day.